So, there's this one photo set that circulates around Tumblr every now and then. It's a cute anime girl and her anime grandfather hugging each other, and it's super cute. And all of the comments on the popular versions of the post are like, "Aw, so wholesome! Maybe anime wasn't a mistake." Well, hate to burst your bubble, but yes. Yes, it was. Vividred Operation is another post-Madoka Magical Girl show I watched in high school and thought was super cool, but now that I'm older, I realize no, it's not. I only found it in the first place because this one AMV was shown off on a live stream I used to frequent. Funny enough, that's also how I was introduced to Fall Out Boy. Anyway, I straight up don't remember most of the show. Watching it now, there's a ton that totally slipped my mind for reasons that will become apparent the more I discuss it. But first, I'd like to promote myself a bit. I have both a Ko-fi and a Patreon if you'd like to support me in the future. Links in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So, in the future, there was a device built called the Manifestation Engine, which, quote, takes energy from the sky, unquote, and provides 95% of the entire world's energy supply. Because of this, there are no wars, fighting over resources, and basically world peace has been achieved. Honestly, that's a super cool concept. Though, this never comes up in the show, but I can't help but think how bad of an idea it would be to build the super amazing energy producing mega device in a country that sits on a fault line. Like, maybe pick a place that isn't directly on a fault line to generate the entire world's electricity supply. 1 magnitude 6 or higher and the whole planet is in a blackout. Anyway, we're introduced to Akane, the granddaughter of the man who invented the manifestation engine, Kenjiro Ishiki, who has been ostracized from the scientific community for dumb reasons we'll get to later. They live a pretty chill life day to day until one day an alone, stupid name, shows up and headed straight for the engine. Dr. Ishiki, who's now a stuffed weasel toy for reasons we'll get into later, is like, "Hey, granddaughter of mine, I created this key for you to go save the world. Go get your buddy Aoi and save the world." And Akane is like, "Okay, cool!" And then we see one of the worst transformation sequences that has ever been put to animation. That we'll talk about later. The next 3 episodes are just getting the team together, and I am left wondering if there is a limit to the Vivid system? The Vivid system is what Dr. Ishiki created that basically lets the girls transform. Each new teammate is introduced, and then an alone shows up, and they're like, "I want to fight with you!" And Akane is like, "Yeah!" And she creates a new key somehow, and bam, transformation. But see, those kind of nitpicks about the intricacies of a story's magic or power system don't always matter. They're just a base which a story can be built around. And if that story is good, there's no need to look at that base any further than need be. In Tokyo Mew Mew, how come infusing a bunch of girls with endangered animal DNA gives them the ability to transform into candy-colored magical girls and frilly outfits? My Hero Academia, what caused some baby in China to start glowing, and why did superpowers suddenly show up everywhere?
Why do some people love sausages and other people hate sausages? No fucking reason.
Who knows? And who cares? If your story is good, those tiny questions don't matter. This story is not good. Characters! Who are they? I will give 2 answers. One in a somewhat professional, objective manner, and one in truth. Akane is upbeat, somewhat dim-witted, but stubborn to a fault. Once she decides something, nothing can stop her. Aoi is a soft-spoken girl who was once terribly ill, but due to her father's wealth, she was able to live a rather carefree life with her friends. Wakaba is strict, hardworking, and earnest. She pushes the others as well as herself to do their best. Himawari is shy and reserved, being a shut-in after some intense bullying. But now she's opening herself up to others again, as well as showing off her brilliant hacking skills. And Rei, a mysterious girl who keeps insisting she doesn't need friends despite how hard the others push to befriend her. We see her every episode, powering up the Alones with her mysterious arrows. That was the professional descriptions. Now for the actual descriptions. Genki, dumbass protagonist, polite rich girl, serious tomboy who loves cute things, withdrawn super smart one with big boobs, and discount Homura Akemi. I cannot stress enough how much I did not care about any of these characters. They are flat as a sheet of paper, perhaps even more, because a sheet of paper you can draw on and give texture and write stories. These guys are literally nothing beyond the tropes they are derived from. It's almost hard to put into words, actually. There truly isn't any sort of group dynamic between them besides generic anime friendship. There's only a single episode dedicated to fleshing out any of the relationship, and it weirdly happens on episode 9 in a 12-episode series. There are side characters like Grandpa, Akane's little sister, these two military chicks, but they don't matter. They're just there to fill in parts of the plot. Speaking of plot, I don't even know how... fusion! The girls can fuse into one being by forehead kisses and do super cool attacks. And the designs for the fusion forms are really cool. In fact, all of the designs in the show, aside from the school uniforms, are really good. The magical girl forms have a very distinct mechanized style to them. The glowing blue highlights, the somewhat military inspiration mixed with a pilot. It's all super cool. And what I find even cooler is how all the girls' weapons have the name Ishiki on them, since that's the person who designed them. These costumes and objects were manufactured, so of course they would have the logo of who manufactured it. The costumes themselves, despite being the exact same with a color swap, are distinct enough, and that works. That's also something I think is really cool, the very bright, bold, distinct, and vivid colors used. Because the series is a sci-fi, it uses sci-fi aesthetics down to the character designs and color choices. Hell, looking at Google Chrome, it uses the exact same colors. Probably something about primary colors and light rays and how they mix and all that. Neat! Now, there's two kinds of weirdness in this show. The unearned stupidity of its plot and the anime bullshit. I don't want it hanging over my head anymore, so let's talk about the anime bullshit. Butts! Butts everywhere! You got a butt? Show it to the cameraman. He's gonna love to see it. Oh, but only if you're a girl. School uniforms? Show off the butt. Riding a bike? Better lift your butt. Beach episode? So many butts! You more of a chest guy? Well, don't worry, we've got some titty for you too in the fusion scenes. But also randomly throughout the show we get whole shots of boob from these characters that are 14! Ah! Yeah. Many, quote, modern magical girl shows fall into the trap of sexualizing its characters. We see this a bit in Daybreak Illusion. We see it in the designs of Magical Girl Raising Project. And we see it in the transformations of Yuki Yuna as a hero. But here, that's basically the whole show. With how bare bones and by the book everything else is, it's clear this anime was only made to create some kind of reason to show ass from every conceivable angle. Literally, the show begins with one of these shots. Really sets the tone for everything else. What's frustrating is how it's never really addressed. Like, this is weird to say. Some stories have sexuality written in as subtext, or it's what their plot is written around, or like something. What I mean by never addressed is more so the fact that if you take the gross camera shots away, it would just be a boring show. The story has no underlying themes of sexuality, and it isn't bombastically shameless enough to go full ham on what it does have. It's mindless fan service to the highest degree. They didn't even try to justify it. It's just there and terrible. And I want to die in Minecraft. Oh yeah, and this show was absolutely made for men because there is so much Yuri bait, but like not in any way that could be something genuine or something for lesbians to see themselves in or anything at all. It's just there. But don't worry, there's more stupid where that came from. This whole section is just going to be dedicated to explaining what actually happens in the show because it's astonishing how dumb it is. Just let me have this, okay? So, Rei is from an alternate universe. In her universe, the manifestation engine was built, just like in this universe, except it went ultra critical and basically caved in reality. Meaning that my concern about it being built on a fault line is even more warranted. For some reason, I don't know how or why, Rei is the only survivor and is approached by this weird crow thing that says it's a herald of some higher dimensional beings, and they'll restore Rei's world if she does everything they say. How did Rei manage to survive the absolute destruction of an entire universe? The Alones are attacking the engine in this universe as a test to see if humanity was worthy of having such power. Was that what happened in Rei's world? I don't know. The show probably doesn't either. And the final test, I think, was when Rei was discovered, and it's found out that her quantum makeup is an anomaly in this world, and that's how the Alones are finding their way to this universe. Government dudes are like, then we should kill her and the problem will go away. And Grandpa is like, so that would mean that they passed the test? No, actually, because Bird Bitch is like, I'm a totally neutral observer who follows the orders of a higher power, but I have decided that it's a total fluke that you pass the test, so I'll destroy your world regardless. And then eats Rei. Bird Bitch is a god now, says some things that don't matter, Rei is still alive inside it, so there's a montage of docking and Akane gets to Rei, and then this happens. Let's rewind a bit. What makes the Vivid system different from everything else is it's powered on friendship? Does the series explain that any further? No, of course not. But it seems that the power of friendship is like a legit renewable power source in this world. I would be fine if these relationships actually felt like relationships or the characters felt like characters, but they don't. Oh my god, where do I even go from here? There's so many moments where I just sit there like, wait, what? Like in episode 1, Momo, the little sister, is making miso soup and Akane is excited about there being okra in it. She's singing a song like, oh, okra, okra, and then it cuts off and we cut to a shrine in their house that has like the anime comedy ding. Okra, okra, okra. Like, excuse me? What is the tone supposed to be? Also, episode 6 is the beach episode, and so much stupid bullshit happens. Firstly, I am so goddamn tired of the whole, this one has small boobs, and this one has big boobs thing. I'm not even gonna call it a joke, because there is no punchline. It is not a joke. Like, it's possible to make that scenario work. You can make boob humor funny. This is just not how you do it. On that note, when I watched this when I was 14, I saw Himawari and I was like, oh, that's me! Because she was anxious around people, had tits, and vaguely brownish long hair. Now I look at her and see that, like every other character in the show, she has no personality and only exists to be something for the audience to ogle at. God, she's so cute. I wish she was in a better show. Speaking of characters that sort of grind my gears, by the end of the series, Akane had just completely gotten on my nerves. She has no personality aside from the most generic energetic girl protagonist. Half of her lines are just "sugoi ne, kakkoi ne." And it's like, do you have any useful commentary to provide? Anything? No? You're just gonna sing your dumb song and move on. I don't like using generic as a way to explain something because that could literally mean anything, but here it literally is the most cookie cutter anime characters, protagonists, plot. Bah! Also, there's like this weird running gag with Mayo. When I say Rei is a discount Homura, I really mean it. She's the long-haired, edgy girl who doesn't need friends, and is seemingly hindering the protagonist's mission, but is actually suffering a whole lot herself. Also, in episode 5, she straight up tries to destroy the engine herself and steals some guns, and she also has this grappling hook thingy. Where'd she get that? Did the freaky bird give it to her, or like... The reveal of the girls being the ones to fight the Alones and Rei being the one to power them up is sort of silly because it might have just been me, but I thought Rei already knew. Like, thinking about it, there was no way she could have known, technically, but she doesn't seem like she was trying to actually combat whatever was fighting the Alones. It's all stupid and weird, and Rei's taken into custody, and the girls go save her and prove they weren't lying about wanting to be friends, and Grandpa knew they would come and is like, heh, they're late. And it's all contrived and stupid, and then the bird becomes the final antagonist out of nowhere because we're not gonna touch the elder gods who employed her in testing humanity. Also, her magic power-up arrows, Rei says that they're proof of who she is or something, but at the end the bird is like, give me your arrow so I can power up. And she's like, no! And I should have given up trying to understand anything that was going on a long time ago. The floating infinity sign shows up and gives her a door back to her original world, which they restore because... And Rei goes back to her world, which I don't get. You have friends here. You could just make a new life here, my dude. What's frustrating is we don't learn anything about Rei before her world was evaporated. We don't even see it. All we get is this weird cloud reflection place or something. I was too hard on Daybreak Illusion because despite the shock value plot it had, especially at the end, it was a fun show. I enjoyed watching it. It had characters I liked and were at least somewhat invested in. This is nothing. The writers clearly didn't care, and neither do I. Do I recommend this anime? No. There is nothing of value to be gained from it that you can't just get from a Google search. It is dumb. I'm dumb for watching it again, but I have a list to go through, and I'm finally crossing this one off.